This podcast is brought to you by Mr. Klein. Ever wondered what it's like to actually enjoy an economics class? Well, with Mr. Klein as your teacher, you need wonder no more. He makes learning economics as smooth as the morning's first cup of coffee. None of that decaffeinated drone typical of economics professors. The man, the myth, the mustachioed macroeconomist, Mr. Klein. Smoother than summer cold brew.
Welcome to Little, Middle, and Biggle. I'm your middle brother, Joshua.
I'm your little brother, Andrew.
And I'm your biggle brother, Noah.
And we are the ones who will answer the little, middle, and biggle questions we all have in life. We are back from hiatus. And I don't know what else to say about that.
Man,
Just an answer.
I've been getting emails like every single day from our avid listeners asking when we're gonna have another episode come out.
Yeah.
That's really good. I'm glad that we have such a cult following already.
Yeah, interesting that you've been getting them because littlemiddlebiggle at outlook.com has still been 100% radio silence. But we'll get to that later. Anyway, since it's the start of a new season, Andrew, you get to start us off with a little question.
Little question. Okay. I just want to have a discussion. What is objectively the best breakfast cereal? Cold cereal, not hot cereal. Because like oatmeal you can do stuff with. Personally, my answer is honeycombs.
It's a pretty good answer.
Yes, my reasoning is just, number one, the box says made of like oats and corn, I think. And that makes you feel healthy because it says oats. And then they're shaped like honeycombs, which is number one, adorable, but they're also like the perfect size for a crunch. They have excellent flavor in my opinion. I ate almost like half a box as a road snack, and they're an excellent road snack, but they're also like such a fantastic breakfast cereal with some milk. You can even add berries, and it doesn't it subtracts from no part of the experience.
First of all, I've got to kind of push back on the berries and cereal thing. Berries and cereal, never a good idea.
Man, I love berries and cereal. Fruit and cereal.
Okay,
but it depends on the cereal. I don't know if I do with honeycomb.
When I want cereal, I just want like good milk absorby, mushy, crunchy stuff. I don't want it to be berry-y because then the berry throws off the fluid to mush crunch ratio,
Okay, but think about this. If you were stranded on a desert island...
But I'm not. I will never be stranded on a desert island.
It's a hypothetical, Joshua.
If
you were stranded on a desert island and you had nothing but honeycombs, and you had to eat that for like every breakfast meal for the rest of your life, are you always going to want milk absorby? No, because you have no cows on this desert island. But what you do have is prickly pear cactus. And you add the fruit to the honeycombs. And then you have a little bit of variety.
So the situation is Joshua is flying a transport jet filled with honeycomb cereal.
Only honeycomb
cereal. He crashes on a desert island filled with prickly pear cacti.
Yes.
And
no
has no way of getting off.
In that situation, yeah, I'd take some fruit on my cereal. All other situations, though, no. So, yes to your hypothetical, no, otherwise. But I will say that honeycomb is a pretty great cereal. Also, it's big in the diet community for being like the least calorie dense, at least per unit volume, not per unit weight. Least calorie dense cereal on the market. That's like a big name cereal, from Kellogg's / Post or whatever. Also, it actually kind of tastes like honey, which is weird because like Fruit Loops do not taste like fruit. And Cookie Crisp cereal only tastes vaguely like chocolate chip cookies.
It's like cardboard with some like chocolate residue.
Oh, you don't like Cookie Crisp? Man,
I like Cookie Crisp, but it does taste like cardboard with chocolate residue.
I don't think it tastes like cardboard. It's way too sweet for cardboard. I mean, well, I guess I've never eaten cardboard. But anyway,
You're missing out.
okay. The thing about honeycomb, though, is that whenever Andrew was a toddler and he, like, peed his pants, I used to always think it smelled like honeycomb.
Oh my gosh.
And if you add milk to honeycomb and then sniff that and then sniff pee, strikingly similar. Not saying they taste similar because I wouldn't know, but just throwing that out there.
I'm gonna try to erase that information from my mind.
I mean, sorry. You're the one with the honeycomb pee.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I guess you would have to sniff the honeycomb and then sniff Andrew pee. Which, I mean, you are perfectly equipped to do, Andrew.
It's true.
Other people might have some problems with that.
Hey, okay, Little Middle Biggle merchandise shop. First item, Andrew P.
No,
Andrew P. Yeah.
you've gotta rebrand it. Honeycomb scented cologne.
Okay.
Comes in little vials of golden liquid.
Yeah.
Well, I have honestly
It's all natural.
all natural, free range.
Yeah, okay, continue. Sorry.
I don't know what my favorite cereal is because I love all of them. I have never had a breakfast cereal, I almost said, other than grape nuts, but honestly, I don't mind grape nuts. But
Okay, but I'm asking objectively the best. I'm not asking a holistic review
yeah,
of the cereal industry.
well, I know, but you're asking for something that is the best in a field where I do not think I can distinguish a best because I love them all so much.
Okay.
Like, I'll give a list of the first 5 that come to mind when I think if I'm gonna have one of those great cereal binges where I just eat a whole box of cereal, either wet or dry. It's gonna be, oh gosh, Cookie Crisp is on my mind. Also, Fruity Pebbles is a solid. Lucky Charms, Frosted Mini Wheats. Ooh, yeah, that's a Corn Flakes. Oh, I love Corn Flakes. Fruit Loops. Okay, all of them. My answer. All of them except the Sour Patch Kids cereal.
That was a cereal?
Yes.
Okay, but I feel like there are all sorts of bad cereals. Like also Halloween Lucky Charms.
That's great. Why don't you like Halloween
Are
Lucky
you
Charms?
kidding? Tastes like cat barf.
How do you know it's...
it's?
We'll let that be left to the imagination.
And like yeah, the Trix berries. I always thought those were nasty.
I love Trix berries. I love Trix cereal. Love it. It was better when they were actually shaped like little fruits back in the day. No, do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. I didn't even realize they weren't shaped like little fruits anymore.
Yeah, they're just little balls. But yeah.
You know what the original cereal probably was just like someone took their wheat or their corn from their field and they just like shucked it into a bowl and they poured milk on it and they ate it.
Actually, I've done some research on this and I am pretty certain the first cereal was actually just popcorn that people poured milk over.
Huh.
Weird.
Yeah. But like puffed corn. Like corn pops? Ooh, that's another good one. Good one.
Corn pops. My problem with corn pops, that was another contender for my best. However, they have a very high rate of bad corn pops in the box. Have you guys ever noticed that?
I mean, yeah, there are always a few that are like kind of burnt, but that's because it's just, it's just popped corn with a whole buttload of sugar.
But there's so many. I mean, okay, you get maybe like 1 in 100,000 bad Fruity Pebbles, maybe 1 in 10,000 bad honeycombs, but corn pops, it's like 1 in 100.
Look, Andrew.
That's just unreasonable.
I am here to love cereal. I was put on this planet to love cereal. I was not put on this planet to pick them apart and try and make them feel like less perfect beings than they actually are. I appreciate the cereals in all of their forms, including the corn pops, even the bad ones, because that is just part of the nature of the corn pops. And I love the corn pops for being corn pops, not for being some Aristotelian idea of perfection in the form of popped corn cereal that is inherently unachievable.
Wow.
No, what's your
Deep.
favorite cereal?
My question is moot.
Is it still Reese's Puffs?
Oh man, no, definitely not. I actually I forgot that those existed. Although
Peanut butter chocolate flavor.
Yeah.
Reese's Puffs. Eat 'em up, eat 'em up, eat 'em up.
Oh, that definitely would have been at one point. I think right now it would be one of two. It would either be just Cheerios solely because they are so like simple and versatile. If you don't just want milk and cereal, then I mean just plain Cheerios with milk is pretty bland. But you can put like other stuff in them. You can put fruit in them. You can put all sorts of tasty things. Make it kind of like just the base for your breakfast. But as far as just basic cereals, like cereals all by themselves, definitely Honey Bunches of Oats, because it's just like it's delicious and it's like do I want kind of like an oaty cereal? Do I want a cornflakesy cereal? Do I want some shaved almonds? Well, you don't have to decide because now they're all in one cereal.
I can't even argue with that.
I can respect that decision. I mean, yeah, they're okay.
I think they're delicious, but I mean, I don't know. Honeycomb would probably be up there too, honestly, because it's just so. As far as like sugary breakfast cereals goes, the crunch is amazing. Like the extra surface area just soaks up all the milk. Like how sometimes when you're trying to, I guess you could say this about Honey Bunches of Oats too, but when you're trying to spoon out a spoonful of cereal, if it's cornflakes or something, all the milk just runs off of it. But with something with so much surface area, like honeycomb,
it's trapped.
It just catches little drops of milk everywhere, and then
which is
perfect.
Is that not beautiful? Because like that's why bees use hexagons.
Hexagons, one might say, are the vestigons.
That's a niche reference that nobody in our listenership is gonna get.
Hey, okay, if Noah's friend, whose name I've already forgotten, listens to the podcast.
You say it like Noah has only one friend. There are tons of Noah's friends.
I'm talking about Noah's friend whose name I've already forgotten.
Dwight, that you were
Dwight.
That was talking about. Yeah.
The one who did capture the beverage with us?
Yes, that one.
Great. Glad we cleared that up. Well, I could go off on a whole tangent about cereal flavored protein powders because I realized that's kind of more what I was basing my answer on.
Oh, I completely forgot about the cereals that you sent in the snackscription thing. Oh man, actually, yeah, maybe like one of those, not the Magic Spoon ones, although those were good, but one of the other brands. Those might be
Naturals.
the K's Naturals. If I had to have cereal by itself now, that'd probably be my go-to. Those were awesome.
Backstory for people who are not within our nuclear family and or stalking us. Noah said snackscription. He is referring to the fact that for the past 18 months and for another 6 months, I have and will continue to send him a health food item of like some sort of funness, um, just as an ongoing Christmas present, kind of like a subscription box, but with healthy snacks, hence the snack subscription. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on, it is time for my middle question, which is: do you two, believe in multitasking?
Oh
For
man.
me, the answer has evolved over time. For a while, I was definitely all on the multitasking train. Now, though, I think it is a complete waste of time. Um, Definitely not the boost in productivity that I once thought it was, except for in very special cases, which I will get to later. But I realized that, like, if I'm sitting in a really boring class or meeting or something, and I'm like, oh man, I could really just like do some of my medical school flashcards, or like I have a bunch of emails that I could send off or something, and I try and like do that in the background. What happens is that if, even though if like I would be expending 1 unit of energy per each of those tasks normally, if I did them separately, together the amount of mental energy that I have to put into like switching back and forth so much between those and like dividing my attention ends up being 3 or 4 times at least the amount of mental energy that I would have spent otherwise. That like during that time frame, sure, that short period I am being slightly more productive, but then the like mental hangover from that just wipes me later on so that I am way less productive afterward and just like less prone to make good decisions too. But yeah,
Okay.
those are my thoughts.
Yeah.
Special cases though is when one thing is so like low key or that you are so familiar with that you can just put it on autopilot. So like walking, great. Exercising that is like not weightlifting where you have to worry about like not breaking your bones. Um, Great. Driving, yeah, okay. Other situations, not so much. But with Noah, you being the productivity mastermind, and Andrew, you just getting into your college career, be very interested to hear your thoughts.
I okay, I feel like I always answer every question last. So I'll take one opportunity to actually not wait till the very end.
Take initiative.
Um so I agree completely with the addition that I absolutely love when there's something where I can multitask without putting any thought or effort into something. Not just because it's like walking, but because it's like, letting the computer crunch on something or growing a vegetable or something like that. Like right now in the backyard, there are a couple buckets with tomatoes and pepper plants growing in them. And like, I'm kind of multitasking by doing those, but I just run out and check on them, take care of them, whatever, for like 10 minutes. And then they're just like out there doing stuff and I don't have to put any effort in. Or I'll, let something compile on the computer and it takes 20 minutes or something and I can go do whatever else. And I'm multitasking, but I don't have to put any thought whatsoever into the thing that's on the computer, or like 3D printing something or whatever. I love getting to have like a bunch of things cooking at once,
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with that, but I don't think that is the same kind of multitasking.
I think it totally counts as multitask. I get what you mean by there's a difference by, multitasking. You could mean you have to split your attention between different things, but
Yeah.
I figure if you're tasking multiple things, then it's multitasking. It's just that when you have a version of multitasking where you can focus all your attention on one thing while still doing other things, that is a way more efficient form than where you actually have to actively split your attention between multiple things.
Yeah. Okay, I'm definitely in for that subset of multitasking where it's not active attention splitting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that. But I don't know. By that definition, then, like, playing Zombie Farm is multitasking because you like set your crops up to grow, and then you log out of the app for a few days.
It is.
Yeah.
That is that. I'd say that totally counts. Is it particularly useful? No, but it is multitasking. I mean, that's honestly something that I loved about those games when I used to play them. Is I could just, check on them and like do a couple things and let it run in the background. It's like like extra productivity.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Nothing says productive like farming brains.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I realize the irony there.
yeah. I agree. I think that all of the instances, or not all, I guess there are some things in my life that are of that same caliber that are legitimately kind of productive. Like, if I send out a bunch of queries, like it could be seen as like sort of productive to wait and see if I get a response that's like, hey, yeah, we'll take your book. But
Okay.
that's like letting the brains grow, so to speak.
Here's my argument against your type of multitasking, Noah. Is what is doing the task? Because like if you walk away from your computer and it's crunching stuff away, you are not doing anything. Your computer is doing all the work, or your plant is doing the work growing its peppers, or your phone is doing the work farming brains. You are not doing anything except for thinking about it occasionally.
Yeah, the task is done in the time when you are initiating that. Like in the setting up of the computer or planting of the brains or actual vegetables or like the sending of the query letters in my case. But then like after that, yeah, the task is kind of done. And it's just like you've just thrown the ball into someone else's court and they're dribbling with it for a while.
Yeah.
You're not even playing the game.
I do agree with your enjoyment of that kind of thing, but I don't think it's multitasking.
Yeah, I think that it deserves a different
like category almost.
Yeah, just brain farming. Let's just call it brain farming.
Brain farming. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm a big believer in brain farming, not in multitasking.
Yeah.
Noah, is it correct to say that you feel the same?
Yeah, I would say so. And I'd say I also did the same thing of trying to do multitasking a bunch and just realizing that, it's just the end product never seems to be quite as good if you're actually splitting your focus between multiple things.
And man, nothing makes a meeting seem like it lasts longer than if you're trying to do other stuff. Like trying to eke some enjoyment out of a thing that is patently unenjoyable. That is the big cost of multitasking for me, is that it makes the unpleasantness just seem like it lasts so much longer. Yeah. Anyway, Andrew, what are your thoughts on multitasking?
I think you have a point when you talk about familiarity and multitasking. Like something I used to love to do was like play Minecraft and watch PewDiePie on the side. But I don't really know. I mean, like that looking back, it's like, okay, yes, I enjoyed that. But did I enjoy that more than I would have just enjoyed Minecraft or just enjoyed watching YouTube? I don't know.
Yeah, see, for me, whenever I've had YouTube playing in the background, it's not so much that I'm watching the video, it's just that I'm seeking that feeling of not being alone,
Yeah.
Like I used to do that a lot back in high school, I would like watch Rhett and Link videos on YouTube while doing homework, and like I wasn't actually watching those videos. I have no idea, looking back, like what was in those videos, or like watching other people play Minecraft, like Andrew was talking about. Like I never actually was aware of what was happening on the screen. I was just aware that there was a voice that was not my own that was in the same room with me, and that kind of made the gnawing agony of isolation sting a little bit less.
Yeah, and I think maybe that is not necessarily multitasking either.
I don't
It's
know.
just kind of like,
Artificial company.
yeah, making solitude more palatable.
I feel like I could totally be wrong, but from a more neuroscience-y perspective, that would totally count as multitasking because your brain is literally taking some of its attention and putting it towards the video, unless it is
That's
completely
true.
just background noise. Like some people sleep with the TV on, or like have music going in the backgrounds. That maybe doesn't count in that case, but
Yeah, I guess it is still sort of attention splitting. It's just a lot less intentional. And one
yeah,
of the things is like, definitely, it's not there for the source of, or for an extra source of productivity. It's there just kind of like for emotional support
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. But my views of multitasking, to answer the question explicitly, thumbs down.
Great.
Yep.
Cool. Well, that ended up being a lot less more of a lot less more,
A lot
Oh,
less
More
more.
or less.
lot significantly less of a debate than I thought. So anyway, no, I guess it's your turn. Big old question.
Okay,
First
I
one of the
have
season.
the first big ol' question of the season. I have, thankfully, as per usual, thought of one in the past like 30 seconds.
Okay,
Um,
pause. How do you spell huge?
I have no earthly idea, and I feel like this was a debate either that we had or that some like random YouTube personality had or something.
It was on Vlogbrothers at one point. They didn't really come to a good conclusion though.
Oh
I think it's
that's right.
I think it's like luge.
Ooh. So just YUGE?
Or just UGE.
I was
Weird.
thinking like LOODGE, like lodge, but with an extra O.
But then you get like a bit of a...
Oh wait, I mean YOODJE.
Oh, I knew what you
Luge.
meant.
Yeah.
But then you get like the propensity to add that slightly hard D.
Well, yeah, but that slightly hard D is more kind of based on dialect.
What,
Like, I
what
bet there are a lot
about
of
what
people-
about hard D's?
Okay.
You just got to slip in the hard D.
Okay. Why was I not the one to think of that?
I don't know. It totally passed me by. That I mean, I'm not really surprised by that.
Yeah.
Just that, yeah. Okay, Noah, what's your big old question?
Okay, my big old question is, okay, so this is something I think about fairly often, not like every day, but that I've thought about for years. You know how you often hear people say, we need more people around like you, or the world needs more people like so and so, or whatever. Could there be one type of person that replaced everyone else on Earth, and have that be a better world? And on top of that, could it even be a successful world? And does that kind of make sense so far?
As far as successful world. Oh wait, yeah, you get to answer first. Go for it.
Oh, I mean, I don't mind waiting until the end if you guys have other thoughts.
No, it's tradition. You ask the question, you get to go first.
Okay. So I think this would be a really cool thing if there was some way that you could make a good little like simulation of this and just have people put in their own, whatever, like personality traits, skill sets, interests, etc., and see like what would go wrong in the world. I think that would be a nice social experiment and learning experience for a lot of people. But I think that it would be, I think that it would be pretty much like, I don't know, I'm sure that it would vary the level of success, but I think that it would be pretty much impossible for the world to work well at all if everyone were the same. Like, it would be, I think it would be an absolute disaster almost immediately. And if you had if you had someone who was really multifaceted and very, community minded and everything, I think it could maybe not be a disaster immediately, but it would be pretty quick, And I just think, like, no matter who you think about, whether it's yourself or someone else or just an imaginary person, there's always something that they're not going to be good at, not going to want to do, not going to, have the capacity to do. And that's going to, eventually be kind of the biggest stumbling block. And also on top of that, it's going to, like, the world would stagnate some because of the lack of variety in human creativity. But yeah, that's what I would think. Also, side note, this is totally ignoring the fact that, like, you wouldn't be able to reproduce if everyone was exactly the same. Assuming, that you just create a clone army and you can just keep cloning people over and over or something.
I think I disagree that the world would fall apart. I feel like, and by saying world, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, but we mean, like, the human-centered world.
Human civilization.
Human civilization. That's a good point.
Grass will be fine.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to bother the whales.
Yeah.
But I don't think we would, like, destroy humanity that way, besides the not being able to reproduce. But, kind of an important part. But, I do think you would destroy the part of humanity that is kind of beyond our definition, like the chaotic and creative part of humanity.
Like the hive mind humanity? How we're all kind of, like, part of one giant superorganism that's, like individual bees.
Yeah.
Don't really do anything. Individual ants don't really do anything. Individual humans, not so much,
They do some.
Yeah.
But they do add up to a conglomerate, and if that conglomerate was all the same person over and over, I think that conglomerate would kind of die.
Yeah.
Even though all of the worker bees are still going.
That's really interesting. It makes me think of, like, almost, it feels to me like it would be kind of like trying to make a body out of all one type of cell. Like, if you only had skin cells or only had liver cells or even brain cells, it would just be like, well, I mean, yeah, it would work for, like, a few seconds and then it would just, like, completely fall apart because there would be some element missing of, like, energy acquisition or waste exchange or just, like, transfer of information even. And everything would be vying for exactly the same resources and trying to fill the exact same niche.
It would be like a sponge. That's not a perfect example because I know sponges have different types of cells, but all they are is, like, a bunch of water moving through a tube.
But
well, okay, that is also kind of what we are.
Yeah.
But no, it's not. It's different.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that this would make a great t-shirt. Even sponges have different cell types. And then it's like pro all inclusion, But okay, so my answer is, first thought, honestly, my first thought when you ask this question of, is there any one type of person, any one person that, if cloned infinitely, could make a better planet? First thought is Albus Dumbledore. Great man, Dumbledore. Great man. Just because Hagrid quote. Just for some reason floating around in my mind.
Just a whole planet of Dumbledores.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but what would Dumbledore be? Or well, okay, never mind. I'm gonna let you continue.
No, yeah, I mean that was the end of the thought. It probably wouldn't work in actuality, but I mean,
well, what would Dumbledore be without his Hagrids and his, Filch?
man, probably be a lot less stressed out. Honestly,
That's true.
But in reality, I think the only type of person that could make this work is just a farmer. Like, I think that is the only, logistically speaking, the only type of person that would work. And it would have to be like a non-modernized mechanical farmer. It would have to be like Neanderthal farmer, where you just like make your own tools, cultivate your own land. That's it. Like, and humanity would have to be sparse enough where like there wouldn't be frequent engagements with other groups, so you wouldn't need like mediators and politicians, and also no desire to specialize, or no need to specialize, I should say, into different types of labor. So like you would have to have a population small enough where you could feed them just making your own tools and like hunting and gathering and stuff, and not need any tools specialized enough that like someone would have to devote their life to being the tool maker,
Yeah, that's really an interesting insight, but
it's stupid because, and the list begins.
No, it's not stupid. It's just the fact that we kind of were all the same until like the agricultural revolution.
Mm-hmm. Not complete. I mean, I'm sure there are people with different personalities and stuff, but
yeah,
everyone was way more, at least as far as we can tell, they're probably way more similar. And that's kind of an interesting thought too, is with a lot of these thought experiments or these, theories, you kind of have to look at least a little bit on what we've already seen. So like you're talking about, just cells or sponges or whatever. And way back when, I think I'm remembering this correctly, but there's a point in history where there were a whole bunch of oxygen producing organisms that were all very similar, and they just kind of took over, and they just kept making more and more oxygen and like poisoned the atmosphere basically with too much oxygen, until another type of organism came along to like balance it out, to like start using the oxygen. And so that's a good example of just like at a very super basic level of everything being the same, that eventually like there's a much higher difficulty achieving balance if everything's the same. And then the human history one, that's such a cool thought that we were way more similar. And, Joshua, you're totally right that if we were all farmers, like subsistence farmers, that would be probably the best way that would work. I'd never thought of that before.
Subsistence farmer. That's the word.
There you go. Oh man, I thought of a word that Joshua needed. I am proud.
Very nice.
But yeah, anyways.
Cool
thoughts.
Yeah. I think that maybe the question that had the longest running time was the cereal question. Just looking at the time codes on rolling past on the Audacity app. But yeah, great.
Well,
I feel like Andrew was also most passionate about that question.
I was.
Definitely. Out of all the questions asked.
Actually, I was passionate about all three of those questions.
Well, objectively, the first question was the most important. Which one is going to immediately affect anyone's lives?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, truthfully, yeah.
Yeah.
Glad we got that one out of the way first. Well, it's time to see if I can roll the credits from memory after 6 months off. This podcast is created by the three of us, written by none of us, and edited and produced by me, Joshua. It's also listened to and enjoyed by you, but no pressure, hey. So join us next time as we unravel more of the world's big questions, or maybe just get tangled up in them. We'll see how things go when we get there. And if you have any questions, suggestions, or ideas on how we can make this podcast better, please. Oh, that please wasn't in there the first time.
I mean, because we are getting more and more desperate.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it's because we're like becoming more professional. We're saying please, but yeah. Send us an email at littlemiddlebiggle@outlook.com. You could be the first. I've been saying for over a year now. Until then, hugs. Oh,
T-Rex hugs.
Big T-Rex hugs.
From all of us.
Oh.
What were we
Thank-
saying about becoming more professional?
Thanks, something, and T-Rex hugs from all of us.
Love, thanks.
Yeah, love, thanks, and T-Rex hugs from all of us.
Did I say love? I wanted to say love, but then I thought, oh, I don't. I can say love to like some random guy listening to this in his underwear, scratching his
We
Hairy beard guy.
love him. We love Greg.
Greg the Basement Dweller. Hey, Greg the Basement Dweller. Email us at littlemiddlebiggle@outlook.com. We want to know that you exist. Please don't send us any pictures, though. Anyway, love, hugs, and love, thanks, and T-Rex hugs from all of us. That feels right. Love,
Yeah.
thanks, and T-Rex hugs from all of us. We couldn't have done this without you. Say bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
What do I say now?
I don't know. I forgot. I don't have the script with me.
Okay.
Okay. Well.